everyone, and especially to you, Coach Jude. I am Cassandra A. Caballes, and together with my co-discussants, and we are the Study Hub 1. Today's topic that we are going to discuss is all about Lesson 1, which is meaning, concepts, and historical views in child development. Child development is about the rhythm and meanings of children's lives, about turning history into understanding, and about weaving together a portrait of who each of us was, is, and will be. According to James A.G., said that in every child who are born under no matter what circumstances and of no matter what parents, the potentiality of the human race is born again. And now, let's start the discussion. Why study about child and adolescence? Studying child and adolescence development is crucial for a multiple of reasons, impacting both individual lives and the society as a whole. Perhaps most, if not all of us, are going to be future educators or parents that will always be a part of their lives. The more we have the chance to learn, and the better you can guide them correctly. And some child development experts have called various stages of development different names over decades or research. Some well-known child development theories from the work of Sigmund Freud, Jean Piaget, Erik Erikson, Lev Vygotsky, Frank Brenner, B.F. Skinner, Ivan Pavlov, and many other psychologists. And to continue with the story of Jeffrey Dahmer and Alice Walker. Jeffrey Dahmer had a troubled childhood. His parents constantly bickered before they divorced. His mother has emotional problems and doted on his younger brother, and he felt that his father neglected him. When he was 8 years old, Jeffrey was sexually abused by an older boy. But most individuals who suffer through such childhood pains never go on to commit Jeffrey's grisly crimes. And with Alice Walker, on the other hand, was the 8th child of sharecroppers who earns only $300 a year. When she was 8 years old, her brother accidentally shot her in the eye with a BB gun. By the time she reached the hospital, she was blind in that eye. But despite of that, Alice went on to become a essayist, poet, and award-winning novelist. She won a Pulitzer Prize for her book, The Color Purple.
A pleasant day, everyone, especially to Coach Jim. I'm Christine Saudan, taking BSET English Major 1A. Today, I'll be discussing the historical views on childhood and current concern about today's children. The way people view childhood was changed over time, influenced by different ideas. 1. Original syndrome. People thought children were born bad and needed to be taught right and wrong to be saved from sin. 2. Tabula rasa. John Locke believed children are born like blank slates and that experiences shape who they become. Parents should spend time with them and guide them to be good members of society. 3. Innate goodness view. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said children are born good and should grow up naturally with little control. Today, childhood is seen as an important time for learning and growing, helping shape adulthood. Modern ideas focus on how children learn new skills and handle challenges as they grow. Today, children face several important concerns that affect their growth and development. These include, number 1, health and well-being. Issues like poverty, starvation, poor healthcare, malnutrition, drug and alcohol abuse, violence, and mental health continue to threaten children's well-being, especially highlighted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, education. Learning happens everywhere from home and the school to the social media and internet. However, online classes and technology-based education during the pandemic have been challenging for children without access to technology and have caused stress for parents and teachers. Number three, socio-cultural context. Children today are influenced by their culture, ethnicity, and gender. Cultural practices like showing respect to elders and understanding gender roles are central to their development. Gender and development emphasizes equality and participation, ensuring that both boys and girls can equally benefit from opportunities in society. These concerns shape how children and growth and development in today's modern world.
Good day to each and everyone. My name is Jaylene D. Apolinario, and today I will discuss about social policy. So what is social policy? Social policy refers to the national government's course of action designed to promote the welfare of its citizens. The shape and scope for policy related to children's welfare are tied to our political system. A specific example of social policies are K-12, the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, and also the Republic Act 9262. K-12 is an educational system under the Department of Education that aims to enhance learners' basic skills, produce more competent citizens, and prepare graduates for lifelong learning and employment. K stands for kindergarten, and 12 refers to the succeeding 12 years of basic education, 6 years of elementary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. The Biennial to Heal as One Act, also known as the Bayanihan Act, and officially designated as Republic Act No. 11469, is a law in the Philippines that was enacted in March 2020, granting the President additional authority to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in the Philippines. Republic Act 9262, an act defining violence against women and their children. Charmy G. Ramos 2020 explored the social policies under the current President Rodolfo Duterte from the time he assumed office in 2016, as a case for examining the transformative potential of social policy expansion under rising new right-wing and authoritarian leaders. On the other hand, Duterte's rise to power is owned by Del 2017 and Wega 2017 as holding to account for the failure of liberal democratic institutions that were established during this period to deliver broader economic empowerment and wealth redistribution. These are social policies such as Republic Act 10931, Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, signed into law in August 2017. Republic Act 11223, Universal Healthcare Act, signed into law in February 2019. 7. A series of popular demonstrations in the capital city of Manila in February 1986, which led to the end of Marcos strongman rule in the Philippines. The Philippine Constitution of 1987 mandates that education gets the higher budgetary allocation. Article 14, Section 5.5, and that's a system of free public elementary and high school education is established and maintained. Article 14, Section 2.1. This was implemented via the passage of Republic Act 10351, signed into law in December 2012, which allocate 80% of this incremental increase in revenues from excess taxes on alcohol and tobacco to the National Health Insurance Program, which in turn was used to subsidize premiums of indigents. Republic Act 9995, signed into law in July 2009, expands benefit from non-contributory pension system for the elderly, including providing a monthly social pension of 500 Philippine pesos for indigent senior citizens. Republic Act 11310, Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, bridging the program for the Filipino family, also known as Porfis Act, signed into law in April 2019. 12. Details can be found in the Review of Social Protection expenditure and performance in the Philippines undertaken by the ILO Subregional Office for Southeast Asia and the Pacific ILO 2007. Republic Act 10963, the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Act signed into law in December 2017. Out of the concern that our policymakers are doing so little to protect the well-being of our children, we still hope that undertakings of the government will eventually to wise and effective decision in making the social policies effective in nearby future.
Good day everyone, I am Eliza B. Texon. This day I'm going to share with you about developmental process and periods. This describe how people grow and change throughout their lives. These processes include physical changes like growing taller, mental changes like learning new skills, and emotional changes like developing relationship. Different stages in life from infancy to old age feature unique milestones and changes, showing how we evolve from babies through adulthood and into our senior years. Each stage has its own set of growth patterns and challenges. Each of us develop in certain ways like other individuals, yet most of the time our focus is directed to an individual's uniqueness. So, first development is the lifelong development does when we reach adulthood. We keep growing and changing throughout our lives. Second is the plasticity. This means we can still change and learn new things at any age. For example, older adults can learn new skills like using technologies. Third, the multidimensional development. We develop in three main ways. First, biological. Second, cognitive and socially emotional processes. So first, let us define what is biological process. So let us define what is biological processes. These are the physical changes that happen in our bodies as we grow. For example, our genes, how our brain develops, our heights, and puberty changes all come from biological processes. Second is the cognitive processes. These involve changes in how we think and learn. For example, learning to speak, remembering a poem, or solving math problems are all part of cognitive processes. Lastly, the social-emotional processes. These involve changes in how we relate to others, how our emotions develop, and how our personality changes. For instance, when a child learns to express themselves confidently, that's an example of social-emotional development. So let's moving on to another development is the orderly development. We grow in a specific sequence. For example, babies' motor skills develop from their heads down to their toes. So next is the gradual development. Most changes happen slowly over time, like how we slowly improve our skills and learn new things. Next is the contextual development. Our development is influenced by our environment and experiences, including our culture, history, and personal background. Another is the growth, maintenance, and regulation development. This involves growing, maintaining skills, and regulating our abilities and behaviors throughout different stages of life. So, now, I'm going to share with you about the understanding how people develop. This help us give the right support at the right time, whether we're teaching kids, helping adults learn new skills, or caring for someone's emotional needs. It helps spot and address any developmental issues early, informs better practices in schools and healthcare, and encourage continuous learning and growth throughout life. This knowledge also fosters better relationship and understanding by recognizing the needs and challenges at different life stages.
Hi everyone! Now, let's talk about the periods of development. First, we have the prenatal stage. This is the time from conception or the process of becoming pregnant involving fertilization or implantation to birth, which is 9 months. This is the process in which a baby develops from a single cell after conception into an embryo and later a fetus. During this stage, we have 3 phases: the germinal stage, which is the first 2 weeks conception, implantation, and formation of placenta. Second, we have the embryonic stage. This is 2 weeks to 2 months, formation of vital organs and systems. Third, we have the fetal stage, 2 months until birth. In this stage, bodily growth continues, movement capability begins, brain cells multiply, and age of viability. Next is the infancy. This is the developmental period that extends from birth to about 24 months, or from birth to 2 years. It is a time of extreme dependence on adults. Many psychological activities are just starting, such as the language, symbolic, thought, sensory motor, coordination, and social learning. Language of newborn is the cry, of course. At the age of 1, they change from plump baby to learn more muscular toddler. They begin to talk, tentative sense of independence, and determined explorer. At 2, they begin to communicate verbally, can usually speak in 3 to 4 word sentences, famous for negative behavior, no to everything, temper tantrums. They also have great imitations. Third is the childhood. In early childhood, it is between 5 to 6 years old. During this time, children learn to become more self-sufficient and care for themselves. They develop school readiness skills. They can already hop on one foot and skip, may begin to read, socialize with other children their age. We have also the middle and late childhood. It is about 6 to 12 years, referred to as elementary years. Children are at this stage masters the fundamental skills of reading, writing, and arithmetic, and they are also formally exposed to a larger world and its culture. During this stage, both large and small muscles, well developed, also develop complex motor skills, and acceptance by peers is very important to them. Fourth is the adolescent stage. This is the developmental period of transition from childhood to adulthood. From 13 to approximately 24 years old begins with rapid physical changes, dramatic gaining of weight and height, and development of sexual characteristics. Puberty occurs, enlargement of breast for females and penis for males, and extremely concerned with their appearance. The most common theme for these stages is identity crisis. And now let's move on to adulthood. During early adulthood, physical development complete, emotional motivation continues to develop, socially progress from age-related peer groups to people with similar interests. In middle adulthood, physical changes begin to occur in which hair begins to thin and gray, wrinkles appear, hearing and vision decreases, muscles lose bone. Their main concerns are children's health and job security, aging parents, and fear of aging. Love and acceptance still take a major role. At late childhood, fastest growing age bracket of society, physical deterioration like brittle bones, poor coordination, some memory problems, coping with retirement and forms of entertainment, very concerned with health and finances. Now, let's talk about the developmental issues. The most important issues in the study of children's development includes the role of nature versus nurture continuity versus discontinuity and early versus later development. In the context of nature versus nurture, basically, nature refers to biological heredity and genetic predispositions inherited by individuals from their parents at birth. This includes physical characteristics such as an eye color, facial features, personal traits, and behavioral tendencies. While the nurture is used to describe environmental factors that influence an individual development. This includes a variety of influences such as parenting style, educational experiences, and cultural background. In early versus later development, early experience doctrine rests on the belief that each life is unbroken trail on which a psychological quality can be traced back to its origin. While in later experiences, advocates argue that children are responsive to change and that sensitive caregiving is just as important later as it is earlier.
To sum up, it's very important to study child and adolescence because by studying children, we can learn more about why they develop the way they do and also the most effective ways to help them to develop as responsible citizens with positive contributions to make. An example in how adult works in this is by understanding more about how children learn to read, we can develop programs that are more effective in helping children to read. With our knowledge of children's development, we can also understand why some children have difficulties and delays and how to help them overcome challenges and what we need to do. By studying children, we can also understand environmental factors that influence how child grows physically, emotionally, and psychologically. For example, parental attitude to education can have an influence on a child's educational performance. Parental support plans can be implemented and family education can be encouraged. All of the professional work undertaken in the early years is designed to support the social and emotional outcomes for the child or children. So, thank you for watching and see you to the next video.